to the laning phase.
And Dehaka was against Tastar at the beginning for the first, but later on even Genji came when Tastar especially didn't have the shift available. Even when he has shift available, Genji can chase him back easy. And he also got a solo kill later on. We didn't see it on screen. I think they need to do lots of fixes right now. And BlossoM did not look as good as what they can play a lot better from what we know. We cast in all their games, but today in game number 1, starting from MVP Black, starting from game number 1, it was just not. They were just not there. It seemed like their soul was out. Maybe their soul was disconnected before the draft. Their drafting was okay. I think the lane decisions or some mechanical decision in the middle, because they were trying to have lots of power dominate the bot lane. They could not do that. I think that's where Greymaine's power really comes along together on the other side. Greymane can do lots of wave clear, lots of pokes, so Greymane does not have to take too much damage. And also, giving Auriel to MVP Black from the beginning. I think that was...
On this map, yeah, no way. Not a good idea. They took a gamble. They had a plan. It took them a while to lock it in, which worried me, but they clearly had a plan. It just wasn't good enough, the execution. So now MVP Black will pick their best map, historically, a Battlefield of Eternity. There's no surprises here. I suppose they could have picked Sky Temple, which is their other most commonly picked map. So just want to go ahead and head into this draft with the better picks and look to win this map, you know, in the draft, because MVP Black often does on this map. They're so good at understanding how to deal with dive comps and how to run dive comps themselves, because this is really kind of an attack/defense type map where one team is always the aggressor, the other team is trying to poke and defend, and it's very black and white. I mean, there's really no, like, well, there's some in-between compositions. Not really, not in Korea. And when it's black and white, and you're black on the left side here in blue, you're gonna feel pretty good heading to this map. We'll see Auriel banned this time. Black is not going to even entertain the thought, as ETC will be at the top here.
It seemed like Black had some info, because they were the one that actually banned out ETC from game number 1, the very first ban. BlossoM really putting ETC on top. We can already feel that this is not the old ETC on BOE, of course, but still ETC making a huge comeback, having a great win rate actually just last weekend. Well, let me actually look that up. 72%, 8-3 just last weekend in Korea.
Yeah, very heavy pick rate as well. 11 games played on one weekend after being almost completely absent out of the scene outside of Tomb of the Spider Queen. So Tracer and Tassadar is the response here. Something that we've really only seen from MVP Black and Tempest, very rarely touched by L5. Zarya again. This is becoming a theme.
We have a different tank, of course, with ETC. Oh, even Greymane. If BlossoM does the exact same draft from game number 1 and played on BOE, I think I would agree a lot more, because they are oftentimes forced to fight, forced to have Vala as a hyper carry. If you have so much shielding, especially when you have Tastar around the Vala, that was missing from game number 1 entirely. But with that, well, of course they already lost Tastar, but if they had that draft in game number 2, I think it could have been a lot better.
You mean game 1, right?
If they had game number 1 draft in game number 2.
Oh, okay,
this
yeah,
draft,
okay,
yes.
that's what you're saying, yeah. Sorry, I got tied up on your words there. I just want to make sure I understood. So, now the draft for BlossoM is... there's flexibility with it, because they can get a second DPS and still run solo like Rhaegar support if Rhaegar makes it through. Pretty unlikely, but if. It's not out of the question, because a lot of these Task Tracer comps run Karzim over Rhaegar, because there's not a lot of value you can gain from the burst healing from Rhaegar with this. But they can run 2 DPS. Tyrael's not really viable anymore, I don't think. It is going to be Rhaegar they take, despite the fact that this is less common.
Yep, they are going for the support choke. They've been banning, and also BlossoM could not ban a support, because after when the turn comes around for them to pick a support, it could have been a lot worse if they actually banned Rhaegar, because Black would have picked another support. So they opened that, banned Johanna for a reason. Both supports taken from Black and 2 banned. Not too many choices for BlossoMs now. Another Lucio maybe? Karazim can do some damage in the front line, along with Greymane.
Karazim makes sense for the map. You've also got Zarya to work with him, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but...
Can also win 1v1 against Tracer if you can dash in pretty well, after 16 of course.
I don't know. This is a really funky situation now because you don't really want to draft it further too much into Greymane because you're up against a Garrosh now who kind of counters dive, as we've talked to a lot of Korean players, and that's what they're saying Garrosh is for right now, especially on this map. So you don't really want to go hyper into the dive here. Okay, this makes more sense because now you've got extra ranged ways to deal with Garrosh, for example, with Tyrande being able to stun him at range, to be able to use Hunter's Marks, the Greymane can poke him down.
Exactly.
This is a much better way to approach it, I think, than trying to go super all-in on the Greymane.
They don't have Malfurion for the CC, but if ETC lands one power slide onto Tracer, can chain CC along with Tyrande and burst down with Greymane along with Karazim, I think this is a very balanced draft coming out from BlossoM against what MVP Black has right now.
So is this going to be a solo DPS Tracer? I kind of think so. I think they might just pick Arthas. Arthas solo lane, you have Tist play Garrosh, and then you just have Sake try to carry with the Tracer. Could be reset as well.
I think they can just have another Muradin to not eat as much healing as the other tank lines.
Is Muradin good enough in the solo lane though? That's the only thing I'm concerned about. That's why I say Arthas is strong against Greymane. He's decent in the solo. Well, didn't expect that one though. This is all in.
All the things we've said with CC chain, burst damage on the Tracer, Garrosh can be countered with the protection. Force of Will can basically counter everything, and we were looking for Rich's hero, and there we go. Medivh!
I suppose he can still solo lane with this as well, and then come down for the fights. We'll see exactly how this plays out. I feel like it's weak in terms of laning, but there's only 2 lanes on this map. It's not really a laning map, it's an objective map. So I like what you're saying. I think the protection there will definitely help when the CCs come in. Will it be enough for MVP Black to take game 2? Let's find out as we head into BOE. In blue, MVP Black reset on Tracer, Sake on Tassadar, Gyocha on Rhaegar, Rich on Medivh, and Tist on Garrosh.
And in red, BlossoM, Wiz on Karazim, Gondar on ETC, Mora on Greymane, Dudu on Tyrael.
Tyrande.
No, Tyrande.
It's alright.
And no chat.
Tyrael's got a new look. We now know what he looks like under that hood, huh? He's got a new makeup artist, you know.
No chat on Zarya.
Okay, well, Karazim is actually going up top right now. There's no one in the top lane for Black at this moment in time, but look at the protection already at work. Tist is looking for a pick. Is it going to cost Black some experience? Rich will finally head up.
Okay, Rich will be there in time. Having Karazim up there is a little questionable.
Oh my god.
No chat without the escapes. Here comes the power slide, but is that going to be enough shield coming for Gondar?
Rich is like, you told me to go top. I wanted to be part of that action.
Ooh. If Dudu gets pulled like that and tossed over to the other side, no chat shielding will not be in range. I think Black has a pretty good counter against BlossoM already. And Medivh, I think, was the perfect pick that not many of us actually saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, I was really thinking about the solo lane and how to try to use a hero that would be a strong solo laner to also get value against the Greymane. This is really well done. No protection here.
Yep, without Rich. Ooh, that pulse bomb actually did so much damage onto multiple targets.
Didn't have Parting Gift yet, so with Parting Gift that would have been a kill. I think that's where he miscalculated, so he would have had Parting Gift otherwise later on in the game. But yeah, this is not a strong solo lane for Black, but I suppose neither is it for BlossoM because it's Karazim, so
it's tough.
This is a little bit weird how this is going on.
Yeah, have melee against range just like that.
But the cooldown management for the protection coming out from Rich is going to be really important because when those things happen, if he doesn't have the protection, he was just simply absent before. But if he doesn't have it, then this is devastating to the composition of Black.
So not just like a DPS. He needs to play Medivh like another support, like a triple support for Tracer. Basically, I think that's the idea that we're looking for. As Rich is onto Medivh. Another thing, ETC can get a great angle for Mosh. There's basically no CC for MVP Black.
Yeah.
I guess Garrosh can cancel sometime, or Leyline Seal coming up from Black. But I think blending a perfect mosh pit is actually so much easier with lack of CC on the other side.
Yeah, now, okay, Force of Will is on cooldown here for a second. Pulse Bomb is going to come through. Wiz will survive throughout his healing here. They want the pick, but here's the CCs. No Force of Will. This is a problem. Reset's very low. Force of Will here for just a moment. And I'm worrying for Black with this comp now because they cannot actually invade. They cannot get the pick. BlossoM has too much consistent CC. They've got extra sustainability as well. And when Leyline Seal, or sorry, not Leyline Seal, when Force of Will was used early on Garrosh there, he actually couldn't they couldn't really re-engage when it was on cooldown because of the CCs. Tracer got low. She is going for Parting Gift at least, and not the Untouchable. I think that would have been pretty ridiculous given the CCs on the other side. You are going to die. It is inevitable. And now BlossoM massively ahead here off this first Immortal. And they're just going to keep pushing it. Karzi being in the top lane does not affect their pushing power here. They've got good siege with Tyrande and, of course, the Zarya Greymane. So this has already killed the wall, even though it was very weak shields. And now, you know, as the Immortal does finally fade away, Black is going to have to rethink how they engage on the next objective.
For now, because they will be lacking some damage. Tracer cannot pull out max damage. And also Medivh will need that Force of Will stacks later on. Once that's completed, there'll be a lot more sustained basic attacks coming out from Tracer and spell damage coming out from Medivh. I think they can have a late game chance. And BlossoM, knowing that, I think they're pushing a little bit more with their CC available right now.
Yeah, remember, oh, this is how you do it. Oh, Lunar Flare, self-cast here, not going to get the stun. Okay, there's the pulse. That should finally be a kill here. And now, will they get more? No Chat doesn't have any way out here. It's like Mora will be enough to kind of scare them away. But as you mentioned, Medivh's going to get stronger. He will, of course, have to finish his Master's Touch in order to do so. Ways away from that now. This is a good pick for Black. They will be able to get the Siege Camp with it. The next Immortal phase will be starting relatively soon. Okay, scouts it out. They're going to see this rotation up, and that's exactly when Kyocha decides to go clear this while they protect the bot. So just maximizing this one neutral camp that Black got, where they're going to get their own camp, which is better than the camp that BlossoM's getting, and they know members are missing because Greymane went top, so they're going to be able to do a lot more with this. So very well done. Minor advantages here for Black. But the Shaman camp is the biggest one.
That's really pushing because Greymane was working on the top camp. I'm watching Gondar, especially whenever Black dives in or BlossoM is one of their members thrown away onto the other side. He seems like a very good defensive ETC player. He always comes in for his teammate, try to save their teammate, base melting at the right timing. It seems pretty good so far.
Well, Black, this is unfortunate spawning locations for them for this, because BlossoM had to clear the camp bot, so they were gone for a little while, but Black couldn't actually get fully into position because it's on red side. And so as a result, this is a little bit wonky right now. Black doesn't have a lot of poke with this comp, so they have to invade hard. So just kind of safely edging forward here. Kyocha does rotate back down after clearing top. And this is just not working out for Black. Reset's now very low.
Nice timing of Wiz, knowing when the first wheel was on cooldown, just going on to reset, because basically they have to push and pressure reset a lot, because all the damage relies on Tracer right now for MVP Black.
I look at Black is just really struggling to invade with this comp. BlossoM has a lot of poke too, so once they get into range, they can actually start doing more. Mora does want to go in deep. Looks like they're going to go all in on this. Lunar Flare does miss again. The reset is pushed away, which means that Mora can do free damage right now. Needs to actually fire to do so. So this is kind of a total switch now. Gondar does get caught by the pull here, but will be able to get away. No follow-up toss.
Yeah, TT does not toss over because that can actually give chance for Gondar to place himself in a better position to power slide.
It was a huge cocktail right there.
They're focusing onto Mora for now. But Black, they don't do too much onto Immortal. That's the thing. They don't have a racing character on their team. And on the other side, there's Greymane. So that's, I think, the biggest thing right now. Even it seems like Black is pushing a lot more, but the damage is just not there.
Well, this is very high sustain on both sides, obviously, so this is a really slow battle where they're kind of trading cooldowns, basically, and rotating back and forth between the Immortals. This is the phase where BlossoM gets an advantage to look for the attack. They safely rotate back. They've got double healers, so they survive through this, and it kind of becomes this Resident Sleeper version of this Immortal phase where it's about who gets the better trades, and Black is slowly, by war of attrition, winning. So BlossoM, I think, is going to have to make a big move soon. And I don't know if this is going to be at No Chat's at full energy.
No Chat's self-shield saves himself barely. Reset is stacking Master's Touch, though, I believe.
Yeah.
Over 10 already.
Yeah, he definitely is, because they're all grouped up, and Black is just playing this passively and slowly. No one is soaking, but Black had the lead in experience before this happened. So they're getting closer to 10, and it looks like this is going to cause BlossoM to send ETC top as Black wins the halftime. ETC goes top during this lull in the action to try to catch up in experience. But Black is doing the same. They send everybody bot here, and this is going to get them closer and closer to 10. I think BlossoM has lost this slow, extended battle here. As MVP Black, instead of just going all in on dive to try to get picks, they just said, okay, well, we'll just get better trades slowly. We will win this Immortal phase.
Dudu will get tossed. Shields come in time, and Dudu will survive for now. Mora gets pulse bomb. Does take a lot of damage, but the sustain is there. Dudu is healing Mora on the other side. Immortal's going down, though.
Yeah, they want it. This is actually a great opportunity for them. BlossoM making the right decision here. Black does not have 10. This is their window. Gondar is going to go down now. Now there's 10. And that's going to be the double here. They do end up losing Rhaegar, but they could lose a lot more. Pulse Bomb connects here. Dudu is not getting out. The Lunar Flare will connect, but it won't matter. It's too late. And now Black can turn this. It's going to be a very weakly shielded Immortal, but they are going to win it. And they're going to tie up our objective score 1-1 now. Very well played, very patient. The idea that what Black was trying to do on the first Immortal and the beginning of the second one was to invade, look for picks with Tracer and Garrosh, try to get those kills. Because they didn't have 10 yet, they have a lot of opportunities to really make that happen. Now they've got Force Wall, it's going to be a lot easier. They've got Leyline Seal, it's going to be a lot easier. Yep. But once they realized that wasn't going to work, they just took positive trades repeatedly over and over and over again, used Tastar shields to let Tracer sustain, and then eventually won that longer war. And BlossoM, once they realized they were losing it, they almost regained it, but then they ended up losing members. They lost 10, and now the Immortal is live.
Here's a throw, but there's a taunt, and lots of heroes actually dropping down on the ground, and Gondar is looking for that mosh pit angle because, but loses Tyrande. They have to go back now. Dudu was basically out of the zone. Also locks in Starfall along with the mosh. No Chat, I believe his self-shield was already gone.
No Chat will survive. Does have that self-shield now. Turning around, mosh pit not going to be enough. Leyline Seal could make this a disastrous follow-up. Seven-sided completely denied by the shield of Medivh. Mora tossed in. Ancestral is good. Another Force Wall means getting out of here is very unlikely for the members of BlossoM.
Seems like Gondar would just sacrifice himself as they already lost the fort too. Great chance and opportunity to actually trying to turn that around coming from BlossoM. Nice force the will timing from Rich, actually canceled so much damage coming out from Karazim. Okay, mosh pit got Tracer. There was a good chance of coming back, but just they were close to it. But later on, they lacked members. If Dudu was alive from the beginning, I think they could have win the team fight and had a massive comeback. But it was just not possible without Dudu there.
Now he's here, but they have a small window to try to steal this cap. Feels risky though. Remember, also the top cap is still pushing, so if they fail this, they lose double. They will get it. They don't have a global to go clean that up, but there's no objective that is pushing right now, so they still have time to hearth back home and deal with it. Black is going to have 13 in just a moment, so sticking around here with all their members certainly isn't going to be the long-term plan. Now Medivh even threatening here with this portal. There's the wall. Not going to be able to get anything, but remember that camp is starting to get more and more threatening in the top lane. A weird build for Tyrande. Would have almost certainly thought we'd see Hunter's Mark upgraded at 1 and the Shadow Stalk, but Shadow Stalk makes it so difficult for Tracer to actually do damage in that moment because obviously she doesn't have any reveal spells.
I think they're trying to do as much damage along with the Mosh. I think that's the idea they're looking for. Mosh Pit will be back in 5 seconds. A lot of CC already used. There's a taunt from Kerazian. Focus Fire. 7-sided comes at the perfect timing. Wiz survives.
He survives the Pulse Bomb, so trades another heroic there. But now Greymane's top, clearing this camp. In fact, he walks away from it. Looks like he's going to clear the wave instead. A little bit of indecision. I'm just watching on the minimap as try to be as macro as aware as I can for you guys. Not everything's shown. Dudu is going to eat a ton of damage. It's a double man Maj, but there's not enough damage here. Ancestral will cancel most of it. Just enough time to get the next Force of Will. Huge triple ley line here. And now Gondar and his friends are in trouble. Look at the cooldown management here for MVP Black, just using tools to buy more time for cooldowns like this force wall that just came down. And No Chat will barely get over the gate. But all this came down to, oh man, maybe getting over the gate is something that MVP Black can also do. And all this started when Greymane went to try to take the camp, then went top instead, then came to the fight late. And Black is just on a roll, man. They're just a team of machines. And the Pulse Bomb on the Immortal, because why not?
Why not? You're going to build another one by the next team fight anyways. And they have a slow. Notice how much damage they're doing. Only 2 of their members, but still. It's taking a long time. And meanwhile, I think BlossoM's making a smart decision. Taking the camp right before. I think this can also give them some push. Black will be forced to rotate. Ooh, Rich does spot this.
Okay, they still get it though. What they were trying to do earlier. They will lose this Immortal with almost full shields on it. They have even talent tiers, but contesting this is not an option right now. And in fact, No Chat got way too close. Does gonna use the expulsion zone here. Starfall goes down, but it's just such puny damage compared to what they needed. Reset wants the kill, gets it with Parting Gift here. Nice. And this isn't the end of this fight by any means. Look at the chase onto Dudu. Great blink there to avoid that. Oh man, Leyline Seal comes through. This could be a wipe.
They're picking one by one, perfectly done by MVP Black, and they don't even need all the members.
He doesn't have Mosh Pit. Would have been a good one if he did, but not entirely sure why they just Wiz and Gondar just decided to contest 2v5 there. They literally went in. That was a misunderstanding, I suppose. But either way, this is now a 80-90% shielded Immortal for MVP Black. They're going to have the 16 talent tier advantage to the 13. Is going to just waltz right into the keep wall. That fort will not last very long at all. Yeah, I mean, it's just really good coordination from Black. Their team fighting with this comp is so practiced, so well-versed. They're threatening mispositions with the Garrosh pick. And it's in moments like these where Garrosh looks broken. How do I deal with them? He tossed him in the middle of the fight. I couldn't do anything. But he was only tossing when people get out of position. When Zarya, it's No Chat in this case, steps over the line, he gets tossed in, and there's no way out when there's Forest Wall on the other side. Tracer's got a Pulse Bomb. They're not going to last long.
Ooh, this Forest Wall comes along again. Pretty good Parse Flight. Just actually barely goes over the portal there.
Okay, wall's down. 3-level lead here for Black. They want to end this game right now. Not their fastest game of BOE career-wise. Had a bit of a rough time with the first Immortal, but things have gotten stronger since. Oh, look at this portal into the taunt. Pulse Bomb comes in. Wiz is in trouble. Mosh will catch the Tracer. So much protection, and Reset almost gets out.
Almost.
Even the Ancestral was correctly timed there to try to save him. They did kill him too fast, but that was incredible. Nearly survived.
He nearly survived. He had like 100 more HP, but that's not, the team fight's not over yet. Leyline Seal's there. They're all very low. Rich doing all the sustained damage that they need. They don't even have Tracer, but they're destroying BlossoM apart right now.
Rich missed his Q, I suppose, for a second, so we'll have to wait for that one to come up, but it's probably the first Q he missed this game. That's going to be game over. as we are going to go into a 2-0 lead here for MVP Black. 19 kills to 4 on Battlefield of Eternity. Not much you could say that BlossoM did wrong that game, but so much you could say that Black did right. The perfect force walls to catch targets that were tossed in, the portal into the Warlords challenge that actually got them that win in that fight. That was incredibly done. Just coming in, gets a 3-man taunt, Pulse Bomb comes in, and they almost saved reset. If he had lived, I don't even know what I would do. Like, if he actually got out of there, I don't even know if I would have been able to speak words, man.
All the shields came in, the protection came in, and he was almost there, but the mosh pit was just way too long. Ancestral was a tiny bit late, I guess. It was also a little bit of a waste, you could say, if you Ancestral Tracer, because Tracer's HP is not the highest out of all, you know. So
I just can't even believe he found the time to click on Tracer right after she came out of recall. She didn't even live, like, she didn't even live for half another second after she came out of the recall, and still the animation for Ancestral went off, which meant he knew exactly where she was and was still able to click on her in time. That's what impressed me, even though, as you say, yes, it was technically a waste. We are going to go into game number 3 with BlossoM, having a little bit of time to rethink things during this short commercial break, as you guys will as well. We'll see you in just a few.